In 2010, I did a 50 states in 50 days tour to highlight the plight of kids aging out of foster care in America. I played a show every night and interviewed kids that aged out or those who work with kids aging out in each state and asked them questions like, who cared about you? Who made a difference in your life? The tour was planned via Facebook friends, Twitter friends, and word of mouth. People stood up along the way and helped to make it happen. As you will see in the interviews, I believe one person really can make a difference.
This is an alternative school with 258 students. Most of these students came from traditional high schools in the Mat-Su Valley. So 258 kids. Out of those 258 kids, we have 111 who are homeless. We have 68 who are unaccompanied, which means there are no parents in this situation. The garbage bag that you see on the floor in my office is the personal belongings for a 19-year-old who was here yesterday. And he was waiting at the steps of the school when the janitor got here at 6 o'clock this morning, in the morning, and said his mother had kicked him out, and she's a drug addict. So, you know, lots of times when that happens, the mom gets a boyfriend who can provide the drugs, and the boyfriend doesn't like the kid, so the kid has to go. So, and that's what he said happened. And so he needed a place to put his things. And he said, can I just leave my stuff in your office? I know I can't spend the night here. I'll find somewhere to spend the night, and if you can keep my stuff safe, that'd be great. And so I periodically have stuff around in my office that belongs to kids that are just trying to keep their worldly belongings in one place or keep track of the things that are the most important. And anybody who's over the age of 18, the nearest shelter is Anchorage. We've been able to be creative. I jumped into this in January of this year, and what prompted me to do that was that we had a group of 8 young boys who were all homeless last January, and we found places. It was a weekend. We were all leaving Friday afternoon for the weekend, and we found places for all of them to go except one, and we ended up giving him a sleeping bag so he could sleep in his car. And you know, maybe some people are wired to be able to do that and say, you know, here you go sleep in your car. We don't have anything else, but I'm not one of them. And so I went to the Valley Homeless Coalition and said, okay, what do you got for kids? What are we doing for kids right now? And they said, well, we have a 10-year plan. And I said, I need a 10-month plan.
Are you conscious of how it affected you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I moved into a permanent home when I was 11. That family they were my saviors. Dang it.
It's okay.
I just got to go visit them yesterday.
Yeah.
They live in Gig Harbor too, but
yeah,
they live a little ways away.
Where would you be now if your foster parents, the ones that cared about you and took you in, if they hadn't been on the scene? Where would you be?
Oh gosh.
And you know that.
Yeah, and I don't even want to think about that.
A statistic and something on a piece of paper is not like living through it. And so we see a title and we think, oh, that's too bad, we need to do something about it. And then you get to know these kids and understand their hearts and their dreams and the loss of hope, I think, and really searching for a place where somebody cares and where they can actually choose to or find some place to make a difference in their own lives and for lives around them. Some of these kids are the most caring kids I've ever met.
Who was the one person that loved you and helped you, by loving you and caring about you?
She was the first person who actually really cared for me. I mean, I never had anyone. Like, I don't know who my mother is. You know, I felt kind of good, like, to actually be loved by someone.
Yeah.
And because of that, I just started moving forward. Like, I actually had someone who's kind of actually really liked me.
Yeah.
With that many years of abuse and some of the things that had happened to me and not dealing with it, it just piled up inside, and I didn't really know how to deal with it as a kid. You know, I was just a teenager, I was just a kid, and so I turned to kind of self-destructive behaviors. I was very bulimic, and I was a cutter, and I tried to hide those things as well because I wanted to control everything myself and have everybody think that I was perfect and that everything was perfect. So, but because my foster mom knew me very well, and she had a good relationship. I had a CASA volunteer as well, who's an advocate.
CASA, I keep hearing that name.
Yeah.
What are they?
Court-appointed special advocates.
Right.
And they're just a volunteer who advocates for the interest of the child. And they typically have one case, and their primary goal is advocating in the court. So she was kind of my advocate in the court system.
Yeah.
So, but we had a wonderful relationship, and her and my foster mom had a wonderful relationship, and because they knew me, they were able to tell that something was going on and that I was hiding. And so they did some digging into me, and even in my room, and figured out what I had been doing. And so because they loved me and I didn't feel like this at the time, they got me help. Get through.
Do you think one person can make the difference in someone's life?
Oh yes. Absolutely one person can make a difference. You need one person to tell you that you can make it, that one person that can believe in you, and you can, I think you can do it.
So are you guys, your CASA volunteers?
CASA volunteers.
What do these kids need?
They need love. They need someone to stand behind them and give them encouragement.
Can one person make a difference?
I really think that they can, yeah. It was just like, and I still just to this day I think about her every time I go to a game, and I feel that sadness coming on to me, and I look out into the bleachers and I'm like, all these people are out here cheering for me and no one knows me. It's always go number 11 or something like that, and I'm looking like no one ever shouts my name. And it's always, you hear everybody, that's my baby and all that, but I never get to hear that playing any sport. And when she came to that game and she was like, oh, that's my student, or she yelled out my name, it was just like amazing.
Yeah.
It just was so special to me, and I never thanked her for it.
Yeah.
She helped me out so much, like, I don't know, that's what I told her. I said, where I'm from, if you help somebody out this much, then they owe you their life.
I definitely believe that one person can have an impact on a child.
Oh yes, definitely. I think one person can make a difference.
I'm not any angel by any means, but I was able to help this one child, take this one child off the streets. I mean, who knows, she probably wouldn't even be here right now, wouldn't be alive if she hadn't been taken into foster care system. But at the same time, people say, oh, what a lucky child she is. But I think how lucky I am, because she blesses me so much, and so much love that she gives me back.
And what would be when you were on the streets with the baby, what would be a low point? A day. Describe a day that was your lowest point.
One day, Kayla didn't have any milk, like, whatsoever. And she barely had like 2 diapers left. I didn't know I was going to feed her. They said it was shelters around, but most of them were full, or like, it was just, or either just real nasty, and it was just a place where no one should be. Yeah. Where no one should be. Yeah. That was pretty much my rock bottom, and that's why I have to be able to provide. I want to be able to just give my child everything.
When you were in these group homes or foster care, was there one person that cared about you?
Miss Cindy. I've known Miss Cindy since I came into foster care. And
who is she?
Miss Cindy, now she's the CEO, COO of Chris Kids now. and that's when my whole life turned around when I met Miss Cindy. I was 16. I remember the day. I remember the whole time we spent together, and she was wonderful. Like, she did everything, and she made it seem like it wasn't something, like, she made it seem like it wasn't a job to her, basically. And I know this is not a job to her. It's something like she really likes to do.